Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here live today, talking about the NXT TakeOver, which will be coming into the WrestleMania weekend. Yet once again, I can honestly tell you that WrestleMania 31 as well as WrestleMania 32, NXT TakeOver was the event to have a ticket to. Honestly, the WrestleMania 31 just being a house show, non-televised event. It sprung up out of the middle of nowhere, and it was almost like it wasn't going to happen. There was always these rumors that NXT was going to have some sort of influence other than just having matches on the Access stage. But, when the event was named, tickets went like that. They were gone. I was already sitting on ROH tickets. I did try to buy them, but it just wasn't supposed to happen. Because of that is one of the reasons why I bought the WrestleMania ticket package for WrestleMania 32, knowing that there was going to be tickets that were going to be hard to get, like Monday Night Raw seats, as well as the NXT tickets, that I didn't want to miss out on. I didn't want to be having to go to a secondhand ticket site and buy tickets that way. So we were smart. We bought the package. This year, honestly, I don't really feel or hear the buzz. I know that I'm not going to WrestleMania, but I don't see people on Twitter dying trying to get NXT tickets. I don't even know, honestly, if it's sold out or if tickets are widely still available. But when I look at the NXT TakeOver card, this is probably one of the reasons why. I can honestly admit that I have not been the most faithful NXT fan as of late. I can remember as of last year, NXT was like a must-see television that you knew every Wednesday. You were going to turn it on and you were going to get a damn good show. With the draft calling up a lot of the big names out of NXT, they have been able to replenish the roster with some names from other organizations. They haven't really created their own name brand stars as of late. But when I look at this card for NXT TakeOver, you only got 3 big matches. One of them, in my mind, would be must-see, with it being Bobby Roode going up against Nakamura. This is going to be a singles match for the NXT Championship. It was a real big surprise. Bobby Roode won the championship in his first championship shot, beating Nakamura. Nakamura has since claimed that he is going to restake his claim as being on top of NXT, and it is going to happen. I think a lot of people out there are a lot like me that would love to see Nakamura get bumped up to the main roster. I honestly have been thinking that he's going to debut on the SmackDown brand after WrestleMania. And that's going to be one of the sort of the Easter eggs of WrestleMania weekend. That's going to be a big sort of thank you to the fans staying around one more day. It's always been that, and most people, some people left Monday and it would be at home watching Monday Night Raw. But to me, Monday Night Raw was always one of the biggest parties of the weekend. It is the goodbye event. You go home, you cry, you pack your bags, and then you jump on the plane Tuesday. Now they're asking people to stay one more time in order to have 5 huge sold-out events, that being Hall of Fame, NXT, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown, for WWE to say that they took over the town, honestly, for a whole calendar week. And, they tore it up and did it right, bringing a lot of money into the community, as well as giving a lot of wrestling fans some of the best wrestling that they could see. Bobby Roode versus Nakamura, honestly, is going to be a really good match. Bobby Roode, I think, is going to stake his claim as being the top guy on NXT, and he's going to be there, honestly, for a while. I can't even really see anybody that's going to be able to keep up with him and be able to, go with him. It's going to be until NXT is able to bring in another big name. I think that anybody's going to be able to challenge him. That a lot is like what Asuka is going with a women's championship. We've already basically seen her go through a run a lot like AJ Lee did in WWE when she was the champion, and she just sort of went through everybody one by one. And then, they got to WrestleMania, and there was no real big name match. So they just threw everybody in the ring with her at once, and that's basically what we saw at the last NXT TakeOver, with Asuka basically saying that she wanted to take on Everyone from the women's division that had a problem with her. She won. I think it was billed as a fatal 4-way, but she was able to win that one. Now she's going to be taking on Ember Moon, and I think we are at the end of Asuka's run. I wouldn't be surprised if Asuka is one of the surprises at WrestleMania. So I wouldn't be surprised if Asuka loses her championship. We've already seen in NXT where, like Paige, who was the NXT Women's Champion, she went to WrestleMania. She showed up on Raw. She won the championship by beating AJ Lee. They didn't want to see her lose in developmental, so they just took the title, basically forfeited it, and held the tournament in order to crown the new winner. I don't think that's something that's going to be wanting to be repeated. For me, for NXT developmental, to be able to give the rub to somebody as well as to show people that it really means something and it is basically its own developmental organization program inside of WWE, I need to see Asuka lose that championship. Whether if it's through hook, line, or crook, she moves on to bigger and better things. Ember Moon is a very, very entertaining wrestler. For them to do a babyface versus babyface match is one way of passing the torch and not bringing Asuka back in order to have that rematch. Ember could just move on and fight the other girls within NXT, and it would be almost like Asuka, wasn't missed at all. From there we go to the triple threat elimination tag match for the NXT tag team titles. That's going to be the Authors of Pain going up against Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and the Revival. Here I am wearing my do-it-yourself, nobody will do it for you shirt. Was not planned, but here it is. And this one, I think that it has to go with Authors of Pain keeping the titles. The Revival have been one of the best damn tag teams in NXT for a long damn time. They had that long run. They dropped the titles, and like everybody else in NXT, when somebody drops the titles, you think that they're automatically going to be getting bumped up to the main event, being on the main roster sooner than later. But a lot like, Blake and Murphy, who had their run, they didn't get the call-up. And I'm really still surprised why. Monday Night Raw has a tag team division. It is not that strong. It's one of the reasons why I thought when the Hardys join after WrestleMania time, I think that they'll go to Monday Night Raw and try and beef that up. But the SmackDown tag division would be another great place that would love to have them. Usos just got crowned champions. Jordan and Gable, American Alpha just had a really good run. Plus, you got the Fashion Police, the Vaudevillains, the Ascension. It's a really, really stacked division down there with a lot of teams that can have some really good matches. So, not know why they haven't got called up. In my mind, I think the Authors of Pain will be keeping the championships. I'm not sure what to do with Gargano and Ciampa. I wouldn't be surprised if they stay down in developmental. But I'm sure that the plan for these guys, even though it looked like for a while that they were going to break up due to the Cruiserweight Classic and dropping a few matches here and there, and it looked like they weren't going to be able to beat the Revival for the championships. Since then, we haven't really seen the dissension between the two guys, so I guess that whole deal has been dropped. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just stay down in developmental and just become a piece of the product down there. Not saying that they're not good enough to be up to the main roster, but somebody that can go out and deliver either great singles matches or great tag matches and be a part of what's going on down there. Anytime you have WrestleMania, people automatically think that people are just going to climb up to be there. But shortly after WrestleMania, before SummerSlam, they should be doing another WWE draft, moving some names around. Wouldn't be surprised if some people get picked out of developmental, even though it seems like it's really, really weak at this point. Some names got to be bumped up sooner than later. So we all know NXT TakeOver has never disappointed. Honestly, in my mind, this looks like one of the weaker cards they've ever put up, but they'll find some way to make something happen. That they've said that Tommy End, who is a wrestler from overseas, is going to be making his NXT debut on the card. I'm not quite sure who he's going to be wrestling. But when I made the video about Nakamura's debut, talking about the fact that Nakamura was going to not be featured on the NXT tour when they go back over there for the Download Festival, there was some guy on the poster there, I didn't even know who it was. This is the guy that they put prominently right in the front. So he honestly is going to be a big deal. So we'll see what goes down. NXT TakeOver right around the corner.